And the streaming has been started. Hey, wait, say something. Doesn't look like you're not getting picked up. No, not in the other recordings. Oh man, this happens every effing time. Yeah, otherwise it sounds like I'm talking to myself. So nice. Say that. Try talking now. Damn it. Okay, try talking now. No. How about now?
Can you hear me now?
Looks like you're getting picked up now. So dumb. I have to go in and mess with the audio settings like every other time.
Wow, I'm special.
All right, 421 is loading, which is the version that I was working on that one for. Do I need that one? Where's my other stuff? All right, so in my attempt to make this more structured, there's introduction. So this is Dev Pirates. It is eventually going to be a development group for developers to work on things a lot like, say, a book writing group. It's where you give critiques and you help each other out making video games. So far, it's just me. But I talk to myself, and that helps. So I got hit with some BS copyright claim by this company called Orchard Music Group. And apparently they've been doing this for like well over a decade. And so they'll like say, oh, this has our copyright music in it. And then they'll link to like, they'll say, this is this song. And then they'll like link to a part of the music or part of a video. And it doesn't even sound anything like the copyright claim. So I went, and it's happened like a few times before, and I dispute it, and I go, hey, this is my own work. I own the rights to everything in the videos. And then, but this last time they came back and said, nope, our thing is valid. So I just deleted the video. It had 5 views. This is a small channel. Like, I don't even think my family watches it. So it's like, do I throw a huge stink over a video with 5 views or just delete it? So I just deleted it. It's BS, but...
You can't let them win, bro.
Even if I lose either way. Really.
Yeah.
Alright, so I wanted to show the progress I've been making on this grappler game. Here, let me share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. No, that's what I'm talking about. There. Can you see? Do you see?
Ooh, UE.
Yeah, it's not really the... They've done some fix-ups, and the fix-ups have, like, before doing 2D games was really annoying. There's a whole bunch of bugs. They haven't specifically worked on the paper 2D stuff, but all the other fixes that they've been doing have also affected the 2D stuff, so it's it's gotten a little better.
Oh, that's good.
But I don't think they're actively developing for the paper 2D stuff anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're designed for 3D.
And that's really where its strength is. But I mean, I'm using it also to learn about the engine itself, so it works out. So, can't show you what I'm doing yet. It's still installing. I'm sure doing this video call slows down the download. But, well, I've got the grappling semi-working. It's in a mostly working state. There's a few things I have to do before it's actually fun to play. But what I'm going to be doing next is going to be finishing the grappling and then adding in the enemies and then the items and shooting and stuff like that. Each person. And then each person shows what they've been doing. So what have you been doing?
Absolutely nothing.
So you're talking about doing a redux of your website.
Yep. Yep, hold on, let me share. Can you see my screen if I share?
If you share, yeah.
In the video, I mean.
Yep, if you share.
Cool. Okay, share. Let's pick the screen. So I built this lovely website like a decade ago.
There. Yes, I remember. It was fun.
Yeah.
What about the games? What, isn't there a game in there?
No, somebody let their WordPress corrupt everything, and now I don't have any data. So.
Well, the data's still in the database.
Oh, well, it's not pointing at it anymore. I bet you probably changed the credentials or something.
Maybe.
So, yeah, so I haven't touched this in like 6 years. No, 5 years. Anyways, and I was going to rebuild it, but I'm not so sure anymore. I've been thinking about it more, and it just seems like a place that people would go to rip off somebody else's ideas.
I don't know. I think it could be used as a way to be the front, like game developers need to do a press kit. So if you made it a way to facilitate working on the press kit as they're working through their game, I think that would be a useful thing. But then also allow players, people who like indie dev games, to find the ones that they like.
Yeah. Could do.
Possibly.
It definitely seems like a more viable option. It'll just be a little hard to get some traction.
Mike is picking up something else.
Is it my wife talking in the background?
No, my mic.
Oh, your mic.
Unless my mic is really good.
That's real good.
Yeah, it's picking up like 1,200 miles away.
So yeah, the original idea for this site, just for all other viewers, was you'd put up a game pitch or your current dev project, and peers or other developers or just other people could comment and chat with you and kind of help you shape it to something that people would actually want to play.
Yep.
Stuff like that. But yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think people would probably just browse it for good ideas and then try and build it before the person that came up with the idea did.
Well, here's the thing I think about that. I don't think that's too likely. A lot of people have a million ideas. And it's really in the execution where things happen.
Yeah.
You can have like some really cool ideas, but it doesn't really matter if you don't develop anything. And while you're developing something, little choices that you make are going to make it something else. It's going to be different than what you originally intended. And even if you gave two people the same exact game idea, the games would be a little bit different.
Yeah, that is fair.
And also, people don't go around looking for... Well, okay, so people don't go around to steal other people's ideas. There's a billion video game ideas out there already that other people are willing to just give out for free.
That is a fair point.
There are places where they're like, hey, here's my video game idea. I'm not really going to do anything with it.
Yeah. And there could definitely be a section for that, too. Okay.
This is my personal feelings on it. And I have those personal feelings.
You and your logics.
I'm trying to fix my mic picking up all this extra. Gain turned all the way down.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Rebecca says hi.
Hi. How about that? Looks like my mic's not picking that stuff up anymore.
I guess you don't care.
Well, Merry Christmas to both of you. I said hi. I said hi to Becca. Can you still hear me? I guess you can't. Why did you mute me? Oh. How did that mute?
I don't know.
I don't know. I was trying to adjust my mic. Anyway, I said thank you. Hi, Becca, and also Merry Christmas.
Matt says thanks and hi and Merry Christmas.
I don't get why there's something weird with my mic. I was trying to get rid of the extra gain that it was picking up. And I guess somehow that also muted it. Why is this taking so long?
Well, because it's the largest freaking program in the universe.
Well, it's just the engine. I gotta clean some of these up. There's a way to up version, but I don't know. So this is what I figured out. Unreal Engine doesn't really do native support of joysticks in general. They pretty much, the only one you can plug in and just play inside of Unreal Engine during using the editor is a Microsoft 360 controller or Xbox controller.
Really? That's a bummer.
Yeah. So I was able to get that working. I had a thing that would pretend to be an Xbox 360 controller with a PlayStation 3 controller. So I just Bluetoothed that in, and that worked pretty nicely. But now I don't have an extra PlayStation 3 controller anymore.
Oh.
I let someone else have it since I only play one-player games. So now I'm just gonna buy a PC Xbox 360 controller with the wireless adapter thing. Why wireless? Because we're in like 2018. Wireless should be the way most things are. Wires are like so 2000s.
Like, totally.
I don't mind a lot of wired things. I prefer a wired mouse. like my mouse with a million buttons.
Oh gosh. I like wireless.
The buttons work out awesome when I'm doing Blender and whatnots.
Oh.
So set a bunch of things up to like hotkeys or combinations or whatever, and then assign them to the buttons. And I also have a G13 gamepad, Logitech gamepad.
Yeah.
And I was using it for World of Warcraft back when I used to play it. But now I've adapted it to Blender and image editing stuff. And it's beautiful. It makes everything so much faster and more efficient.
Well, that's good.
But it takes a while to set it up. And also it takes a bit of time to move things around to be in a more efficient way. But after a while, it gets beautiful.
Yeah, I should Blender more.
Everyone should. Blender's a decent 3D software.
It's the best one.
I don't know about best, but it is really decent, especially for free. Oh yay! Finally gonna install. Installing for time here. I tried to install it before, but I thought I only needed 420.3, but I did 421.1. So I also figured, why not just remain up to date on the game engines while I'm doing this?
Yeah, makes sense.
The changes are pretty gradual, though, like as far as learning the blueprints. It's done. All right, where's my folder? Not you yet. Where's the assets, games? Excuse me. Come on, open up. Open Sesame. Oh, not an Unreal Engine, that one. I didn't want you to open in. Set current. Bastard. Did not want you to do that. I think I have to copy it over again. Don't want to mess with the files. No, I should probably get like a cloud computing thing and just share files the modern way, but I am using a hard drive, an external hard drive to transfer between.
Oh.
No, there I was talking about wireless controllers being old school, and yep, here I am.
Hypocrite.
Yep, being a hypocrite. So you want to talk about that while I'm doing this?
Yeah, sure, I guess. You want to give your synopsis? Because I think you had a better grasp on it.
Allow access. Okay, now it's opening in the right editor. there we go. All right. Am I still sharing?
Yep.
All right. And play. So he shoots his little thing out. And you'll just see that, like, when he stands up, it still follows back to where it's supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
Right, anyway, so there's that. It cancels. And then I got swinging. I just barely got this working in a stable way. So this is the other thing I'm working on. I did it slow. Notice he's moving up very, very slowly.
Right.
Because I pushed the thing to try and make it retract all the way up, so he's supposed to go all the way up to that platform and then wait there. But since I'm working on it, I did it really slow so I can see the effects really slow. Ah! There's a bug!
Oh.
So he jumps up way too far, like this. So he goes up like a whole person height. And then here he's a little too high on the swing. So there's still a few more adjustments to make. But that's pretty much it for now. The other thing I have to work on is while you're playing, when you're swinging, like if he goes all the way far enough to the right and he holds right, he's supposed to like do a little jump and swing that way, right? Or left, vice versa. So if you're holding right before he turns left, he should do a little jump and then disconnect his grapple, and then you're able to grapple again. That's pretty much the main game mechanic of this thing. The other one is when he goes up, like when he goes up to the platform, when he makes it there in like a year and a half at his present speed,
Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to flip up through the platform.
Ah.
And so those are the main gameplay elements of this thing. The rest of it's just going to be like shooting and getting hit and all that stuff.
Good deal.
But yeah, that grappling was a big pain in the butt. Just getting this cord working was a pain in the butt. I didn't do it a very smooth way. I will show you how I did it. So this hook has a little guy right there. See, he's swinging. Still there, Ron?
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I did the swinging. There is a swinger, a spring arm. So I just rotate that back and forth, and so that's the rope. And then I shorten it when he shortens it. And then at the end of it is a point, and that's where I attach the player while he's swinging. Alternatively, I do the spline for the links, and that gets set with 2 points. First, starting where he's supposed to do where the start of the chain from his hand goes, and then all the way to the hook. And they could have done everything with that, but I'm gonna keep going the way I'm going right now because it's already mostly done. This isn't a thing to. The idea for this is to try something and get it working with the similar gameplay as the game you're trying to copy, at least for these first few levels.
Right.
And then come up with better ideas to implement them better. And so you get it done, get one level going, and the next time you do it, hopefully, hey buddy, no scratching right now.
What was that?
Cat in the box.
Oh, sounded like someone was sweeping your desk.
All right. And this is what I do for the grapple angle, I'm sure, and the speed that it travels. I'm sure that there's better ways to do it. That's the way I decided to do it.
Oh.
Retracting was better, or at least a little more dynamic. So it gets the current point from the player, which is something that gets that returns every time it's asked. And this is a slightly complicated one. You'll notice by this little spider web. Gordon.
Hmm?
I know. So based off of the player state and some other things, some directions, it's going to give a different location for it to attach to. And that's based off of one of these three different directions.
Cool.
And so this hook will go back to that point actively. So if he's falling or changes, if he moves around, it's still going to keep going back. And it moves pretty fast, like faster than the player can walk, so it's always going to get back to him.
So is this like programming visually?
Yep. It's sometimes a little more annoying, sometimes it's just as cool. Oh, John says Dad's out of surgery now. Yay. I didn't even know he was in surgery.
Yeah, he's been super good about communicating that lately.
This sets the directions of the links. There's you'll notice that there's a few different directions. There's left and right, and there's up, and then there's diagonal. So this will set which ones get used. Like if he's swinging, it will switch between whichever one matches the best, whichever angle matches. That way it always looks like it's a straight line, even though they're all in little, show you the sprites. So each one is like this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 7 of them, which pretty much handles the max distance of the grapple. And so every time, each frame I fire, I will set each one's position along the spline, which is actually pretty simple. I tried adding these in dynamically, and I couldn't get them to show up. And so instead of messing with it forever, I decided to do it this way. I'll figure it out a better way later when I know the engine more. All right, sounds like I'm boring you.
No.
It's a whole bunch of functions I needed. The grappler is probably the most complicated I've done so far. And it's not even done yet. Still got a lot to do. Handle grappling is a huge thing.
Whoa.
So while he's just standing there and it's shooting, it's going to do this. If it gets that much farther than the character, then it's going to come back. While he's holding, he gets to do some things, mostly cancel or start swinging. And then when he's retracting, if it gets close enough, it will just destroy the hook. And what I learned is it's never a good idea to kill an actor externally. All dyings have to happen inside the actor. Otherwise, it starts getting reference errors of actors that are trying to die. That's the best way to avoid most of that, is to only kill the actor inside of itself. That was an important lesson. I'm glad you're very excited about this.
It's cool. I've never touched UE, so I don't. I spent about an hour in here once. Not enough time to actually do anything.
Yeah. Unity is pretty. Unity doesn't have this blueprint stuff,
right?
But it's about the same, just as easy. You can also program in C++ in this. Which
So
is why I
could
prefer
you could you use this entirely?
do this entirely in C++?
No, do the whole game entirely in
Blueprints? Yeah,
Blueprint.
the last two ones I only touched blueprints. I didn't do anything in C++.
Oh, that's cool.
This one so far, it looks like it can do it all. Once I get things working, I'll generally clean this stuff up so it looks neater. But yeah, when I'm just trying to get something working, it gets messy. And that's what I was trying to do. The swinging was getting really weird. Like, you would just go like this, and then I'd start swinging, and then you just start spinning. You would just spin around and around and around. And then like he would hit a wall and then just go flying off into nowhere land. It was so weird. So I would axe this one from one of the first game attempts for going through this process, just because the grappling is a really complicated thing. I thought it was going to be complicated, but it's way more complicated than I thought because of all the weird random issues I've been having with getting it implemented. So
yeah,
all right, that's it for that. Did you want to talk about game lists?
Game lists?
That thing you linked me?
Oh.
Or messaged me?
Sure.
So what's up? What up with that?
So we were talking earlier about maybe Devo game is not something to be made right this moment.
Right. I mean, I think it'd just be something that would require a lot of time to be put into it to make it successful.
Yeah. And so we were talking about something that's more of a indie promoter kind of a deal.
I don't want to put it that way.
Like a library.
I mean, technically it would be that, but the way I would like to say it nicely is it links up indie fans with indie games that they are more likely to enjoy.
So it promotes indie games.
Okay, so here's the problem I have with that. Steam promotes indie games. And over the last few years, it's gotten kind of crappy. Like, I will look for a game and be like, oh, you like this game. Here's this AAA title. Like, but that's not even an indie game. Or it'll be like, oh, I see that you like Fortnite. Here's a bunch of first-person shooter games.
Yeah.
It's
so it's really hard.
It's a difficult task.
It is, and I'm at the moment just trying to kind of find a name to go with it, and there's all the decent options that have game or gamer as like the main bit, and then like some custom dot postfix.
Right. I mean,
they're all taken.
Pretty much anything with game in it is going to be a hard
definitely
find.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few gamers that weren't too bad. Of course, the non.coms are like way more expensive.
You might want to come up with just like a name that sounds like something.
Nextgamer.net. Geeks watch. Geeks.watch. Oh, here we go. Let's try Andy.
I don't know, coming up with names is a long time consuming process most of the time.
Yeah.
That's why I choose easy things, like calling my game Grappler. My Mario clone was called Jumpy. My Ninja Gaiden clone was called Ninja Game.
Yep. Oh, there's a .ninja. Did you know that?
I did know that. I wonder if
the
Ultimate Power, true Ultimate Power website is now .ninja.
I couldn't think of any good .ninjas for this.
I think real Ultimate Power .ninja would be it.
Indie Ninja, is that a thing? That's actually not a bad name.
That's not.
Unavailable. Retro Ninja, also unavailable. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I feel like I've got a good name in Devel Game.
It's a good name.
But not for what we're proposing.
Right. It doesn't match.
I mean, I guess it sort of does. And, I could maybe build a subdomain off of Devel Game, like list or games dot, something like that.
Yeah, or change the purpose.
Yeah. I wanted to do Devel Game, but it's just going to be, it's hard pinning down something that people would actually use.
It's got to be something useful and easy to use.
Right. And the things that I would probably use something like that for are pretty advanced. Like, it's not something you could throw up in a couple of weeks and then...
Yep. It's something you'd have to throw months and months into development into. And then
before you even see if anybody likes it.
Right, and then years of promotion and work, and then maybe no one even likes it in the first place.
Or somebody else on a bigger company makes the same thing better because they have a full team of people.
Yeah. Or they don't make it better, but they're just more popular.
Right. But I think, I don't know, something useful to me would be some sort of collaboration system. Like creating teams and listing off tasks. And task lists, but there's many of those around.
That would be useful. Maybe it'd be something you could work into. Like do a design document of what site you really want to make, and then try and break that down into small deliverable parts.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's it. So, I plan on hopefully finishing Grappler, because the rest of the stuff is pretty basic game stuff, and I've already done a bunch of that, getting hit, shooting, and whatnots. So hopefully I'll be able to get the rest of it done relatively quickly. It's just this grappling that's taking most of the time, and doing it wrong the first 3 times. Alright, so that's it. We'll be back in about 2 weeks. Thanks for showing up.
Later, guys.
Later.